Ian is going to be presenting smart plans to us, but we're going to start off with a little discussion about smart plans and why they're useful. And Matt, please join in the discussion as well. You have great observations on how this can impact your business, but I'm sure you guys will hear over and over again how important it is to have your database, in a CRM and be touching your database. The money is in the follow-up. I think the statistic is like, if you call 100 people in your database that 100 actual contacts, you'll have conversations with about 25 of them, and you'll come away with one lead. That lead might not transact, but one actual, appointment, or, someone you talk to might refer you to someone. But think of how big your database is. Think about all the people in your phone, all the people that you've corresponded with via email. If you were to just reach out to those people, let's say you're new at KW, reach out to them and let them know that you joined Keller Williams. Reach out to them and let them know that you wish them a happy holiday. Or, I really love Matt does these personal update postcards. You could easily do something like that in a personal email through Smartplans. So Smartplans, how that can help you with your database is it is a follow-up system. Sure, Smartplans can be automated text messages, automated emails that you wrote, but it's really a template going to a bunch of people. But if you're the type of person that, you don't want to send an actual contact, something that's automated, in the very least, you can have people on the quarterly call plan, because you should be calling your database. And that's 4 times a year, calling 4 times a year. So Matt, Ian, did you want to add anything to that?
Yes. So think of it as you're nurturing your contacts. It doesn't mean that if you make a follow-up with them right away, you would be able to convert them into money right away. So think of it as that in the upcoming future, when they are ready to buy a home, the first person that they would think of would be you, because you have been sending this follow-up emails, quarterly call plans, neighborhood nurtures. So I definitely agree with what you said, Danny, where you can make money out of following up.
Yeah, and it might not be that they're transacting right now, but who knows, they might know someone.
The other thing I like to do is when I send out my nurture, you in command to sort your contacts by last activity, so you can actually then go through and see people who are interacting with those emails that you send out and clicking on neighborhood snapshots or on different properties, and then you can obviously reach out to those people, because there may be someone who you haven't talked to in 2 years in your database, and all of a sudden you see them looking at properties. Well, that's a good sign that you should be reaching out to them and connecting with them, especially.
Oh, shoot, you're kind of freezing up. Matt? Matt?
Did you hear anything?
You got cut off. You're shaky at best. Okay, I think Matt froze. We'll wait to have him back here. But yeah, okay, Matt, are you back? Sorry about that. We lost you. We missed all that. All good? Okay.
You missed the whole thing?
Most of it, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. I was just, hopefully this will work this time. So I was just saying that when people read and interact with your neighborhood, is it working or is it not working?
You're getting cut out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I just won't be able to, I won't be able to contribute. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Well, you're somewhere beautiful, so I hope you're enjoying it. I want to piggyback off what Matt just said. So if you are, using one of our automated follow-ups like the neighborhood nurture, again, like he said, you can sort your database using the filters. So when you're in the contact section, you can use filters and filter by last activity or last active, was it? And then that'll show you people who have interacted with that neighborhood nurture. Now, if you have people on a quarterly call plan and you're calling people routinely, you can also sort your contacts by people you haven't contacted in the last 30 days, 3 months, 6 months, and make sure that you are calling all those people. So, just, you don't want anyone to slip through the cracks. Everyone in your database who's a contact, you want to be reaching out to, even if it's just to say, hey, no, we're going through some tough times. It's COVID still happening. And is there anything I can do for you? Or how has your family been faring? How have you been doing? Really care. It doesn't have to be, it shouldn't be all about business all the time. And same with your email correspondences and text messages. It shouldn't be all business all the time, right? We want to make those personal connections and deepen the relationships with this outreach. With that said, Ian's going to go ahead and walk us through Smartplans. So take it away, Ian, and give us kind of navigation of Smartplans, show us tag triggers, and show us about the library and kind of, how we can find Smartplans to use as a good base.
All right, thank you for that, Danny. So again, good afternoon. And for our today's topic, it's actually called Command Advance Get Triggered with Smartplans. So as we all know, and as we mentioned earlier, making money, or if you want to make extra money, that can be done via follow-ups. And we are very lucky because our CRM, or Customer Relations Management, which is KW Command, has that feature. And what's cool about that is that feature is automated. You just need to set it up. And for we know this as Smartplans, or as we call it in Command, Smartplans. So Smartplans is, a series of automation done through text messaging, as email campaigns, and of course tasks. So all of these can be automated via Smartplan. If you think, you can also, say that Smartplan is drip marketing. So it's basically the same, it's just called different in our system. And so once you log into Command, what you will see is the home screen or the dashboard. For you to get to the Smartplans is you just choose the fourth icon from the top. So I'm clicking Smartplans now. And as you can see, I have multiple here. This is my Smartplans tab. You have the name of the Smartplans, contacts. And by the way, if you see the eye icon, it means that there is a contact subscribe or enrolled to that Smartplans. And this is how many. The date it was added to your Smartplans or created, the duration, and total number of touches, and of course, our shortcut for actions, which is add contact, edit, and our famous 3 dots, the copy, publish to library, and delete. So when you click that, this is what it would show you. Now I will click on the library. So if you can see, we have a search bar here. You have the option to search for Smartplan using its name, the name of the author, and the description. And of course, we have the filters option here. So just click on that, and it would let you choose the filters that you would like to use when you try to search for Smartplan. I'm gonna close that out. If you notice, we have different kinds of smart plans. So first is the featured. Next is the Keller Williams one, or the Keller Williams made smart plans. The top rated, and what's new. Moving back up. So this would be the featured smart plans. We have 8. So if you want to see them all, you can either scroll to the right or just click and see all. And also, before I forget, every smart plan has the same details, such as you would be able to see the name of the smart plan, its description, when it was published, the type, like it was featured, number of agents using it, star rating, number of steps, the duration, and total number of touches. We can also see the author and that it's free. So far, I have not seen a smart plan that requires you to pay, but I think that it's possible in the future that agents would be able to make money out of the smart plans that they made. So I think that's a yay for us, right, Danny?
So yeah, maybe someday, but for now they're all free and there's no way to charge if you publish one, and there's no way to pay. So right now everything's free.
Yeah, thanks for that. So if you want to click or if you want to see all the steps that would be taken when you use that smart plan, just click on view steps. So if you can see, we had add to smart plan, 10 days delay, phone call, another 10 days delay, touch task, which is to, send value email to the contact, another set of, another 10 days delay, send SMS. I'll mention this later when I show you an example of the SMS. And of course, it will give you an option to repeat, or it depends on that smart plan if it would let you add that person to a different smart plan. So it really depends. Now, also, when you click on that view steps, it has an option, which is add to smart plan. So when you click on add to smart plan, it would say here that download. When you say download, it doesn't mean that it will be downloaded into your computer, but it will be added into My Smart Plans tab. So I'm going to hit cancel on this. And then moving on, I mentioned earlier, I was saying earlier about different types of smart plans. These are the Keller Williams made smart plans. So we have 10. Some of this would let you partially edit that smart plans. Some of them would totally not let you edit that smart plans. So it's actually the same, like what I mentioned earlier. It has the description.
And that's one that you can't edit. That's just one example.
Yes. So moving on is the top rated. So if you can see, we have 954. That's actually a lot. From my point of view, these are the smart plans that were made by other agents, and they thought that I think my smart plan is really helpful to me, and I might as well share it to other agents. So here we have them. And if you can see, it's really useful because, like, for example, we have this 5x5 database touch, first-time home buyer bi-weekly email. So yeah, there it is. And lastly is what's new. Excuse me. So as you can see, we have this new smart plans that are recently made. Some of them hasn't even been downloaded yet. But basically, it's the same. It's the same procedure. Like if you want to add this, just click on add to smart plan, hit on download, and it will be brought over to your My Smart Plans tab. So I will be going to My Smart Plans tab now so I can show you an example. I'm going to use this My Open House follow-up smart plan because I will be discussing something about this as well. So I'm going to click on edit. And okay, so first things first, if you can see, here is the action on the right. And if you scroll down a bit, it would give you the tips and rules for creating a smart plan. So you just need to scroll a bit or scroll down a bit, and it gives you guides. So it's not really that difficult, or it's not never really difficult to create your own smart plans. Now, I mentioned earlier about SMS. So this is possible when you are subscribed with Twilio. So for Twilio, it costs $3.16 a month for 300 text messages, and unused messages will be carried over to the next month. And if ever that you go over that, what will happen is it will actually get some for the following month. Nice actions, Danny. Thank you. So, well, if you're not subscribed to Twilio, that's fine. Of course, some agents would like to use this as a blast, blast text or SMS. If you don't have, or if you're not subscribed, like what I mentioned, it's fine. What you can do is you can actually create a task for you, or an SMS task. So I'm going to click on that. And if you notice, it appeared in the bottom. So I will move this up until it gets to the part where it would go under the, what do you call this, the SMS part. Because what will happen if you're not subscribed to Twilio is it would skip the SMS process or step for this specific smart plan. And where's that? Okay, there it is. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a task for the SMS, and then it would appear in your task page or in your due date. I will show that later as well. So let's say that, yeah, I think this is it.
And one more thing I wanted to add about Twilio is if you want to subscribe, you can just follow the red banner. It says subscribe in KW Marketplace. You can just click that and follow it. It'll prompt you to select a phone number through Twilio, so you cannot use your cell phone number for those text messages. And if you leave one of these in your smart plan and you have not subscribed to Twilio, when your smart plan reaches this step, it's just going to skip it basically. So that's why Ian's suggestion, if you're not going to sign up for Twilio, you can create a task to actually remind yourself to manually text message someone if you still want to incorporate text messages and are willing to do those yourself.
Thank you, Danny. So anyway, let's, since that has been mentioned, I'll move over to the next part, which is 4 days delay. And then it's going to show you that you would have to make a call. Well, as we know, command at the moment doesn't have the function for, making a call. So what will happen is this will create a make a phone call task, right, Danny?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So thank you. After that, it will, and of course, it's going to give you a pre-made script that you might want to use. But of course, you can use a custom one or a made one so that you would have a personal touch when you make that call to your client or contact. And
yeah, I would say in the very least, if you're making one of these smart plans from scratch and you're adding in a call reminder, at least you want to note, what is the purpose of your call. If you're not going to put a full script in there, maybe what smart plan it's a part of. So when you get that task, oh, this task to call this person is an open house follow-up.
Perfect. So, and of course, gives you like a hyperlink box here. This would be very useful. Let's say that your call appointment with that contact is done via Zoom, so you can just add a Zoom link here. Cool, right? And of course, 3 days delay, and it's going to repeat the SMS. So again, it's going to skip this if you don't have Twilio subscribed with command. So you can just do a manual text, and of course, add a SMS task so that it would appear in your task later. And
And you can delete that if you want to by just clicking the X in the
Yes.
bottom right corner if you want. Yeah.
Yes, you can do that. And last is, or next is email. So after you've done all those texts and calls, let's say that you don't want to, spam them with those. So we're gonna take it like, slowly. Then we're gonna send them an email like what's shown here in the smart plans. And then
That
another
one is
delay.
actually a task to send them a real email manually. So you wanna definitely pay attention to that. Some of the smart plans have a task reminder to email someone, and some of them include an email that's going to be sent on your behalf automatically.
Yes. And again, so since this is the long-term neighborhood nurture, it asks you to add that contact at the end of the smart plan. So I will be scrolling up because I wanted to show you guys something. This is actually our main event for today. So trigger event. So if you click this, it would show you this window. Now what this does, it actually make the easier. Why? The trigger is actually connected to your tags, which I will discuss later as well as an add-on. So if you notice, let's say, or how do I say that it makes the easier? As I mentioned, triggers is connected to your tags. If you click on this, the plus icon, if you notice, it gives you your tags. It lets you choose which tag you would like to use. So for this smart plan, I would choose lead. And of course, you can add up to 10 tags at the same time. Now, the reason for this is, let's say as agents, of course, we can't avoid but, periodically or gradually grow our contacts. We will be adding more contacts to our database. And the purpose of this is those contacts that you add, if you tag them as a lead or any tags that you use in your database, they would be automatically getting this smart plans without having to add them individually in the My Smart Plans window. So this is why, or this is how the easy gets easier. So you just choose a specific tag that you would like to use and choose trigger. When you click on choose trigger, you just click confirm trigger and you're done. I'll go back to my smart plans window. I will be discarding this so that I can show you something. So remember earlier, if you use trigger events, you don't have to go through this and choose these people one at a time, which is time consuming. And as we know, real estate agents value their time the most because
Wait, before you exit, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
So you can also add people to a smart plan by tags. In this screen that Ian's showing, as you can see, there's the search by name or tags button.
Yes.
So one thing I want to mention about the tag triggers, Ian just went over and he set up the one for lead. So that means everyone he adds from today forward to that tag lead is going to automatically start receiving that smart plan, but people that already have that tag for lead are not going to automatically receive that smart plan. So at the time where you add a tag trigger to a smart plan, it's not going to be retroactive to people that already have that tag.
Thank you, Danny. So I'm going to close this out as Danny has already mentioned what needs to be done. And for tasks, I mentioned that earlier. Let's say that you have those smart plans that required you to do a call task. Just click on the third applet from the top and it will bring you over to the tasks window. So this is where it would show you the name of that contact, who assigned that, priority level, and of course the due date for that task that is in the smart plans.
I wanted to say one more thing. This tasks dashboard, or this tasks applet just got a huge overhaul. It was just launched. So if you've been using this, you might notice that it looks a little bit different. I absolutely love the color coding of past due, due today, due tomorrow, due next week, due later. And it's going to automatically sort all the tasks you have from past due, due today, due tomorrow. So whatever due date is past due or most recent, it's going to sort them by the date. And then also, if you want to click on one of those colors, like past due, due today, you can actually just sort by what is past due. If you click that right there, it's going to give you all your past due tasks. And then you can also view very easily now your completed tasks, archived, and then tasks will expire after a period of something like 30 days. So keep that in mind. And expired tasks right now, I don't know why it functions like this. I'll be asking the developers, but you can't restore them. If they have expired, cannot restore them. They just kind of fall to the wayside. So you want to be checking your tasks.
Yep. So I think that's everything for Get Triggered with Smart Plans. Would you like to add anything, Danny?
I think that was a beautiful job. Absolutely great. The one thing that I want to add in here is just, does anyone have questions, first of all? Feel free to drop it in the chat.
I'll go with a question, and that is, talk to me about the database you have already. Can I use these for that existing database, and how do I sort it out? And can I do it to my entire database if I didn't want to sort it by specific verticals?
So that is an interesting question. There are things you can do with your database that already exists. So one thing that I would do is, how big is your database, Peter?
Yeah, a couple thousand.
Okay, so that's probably too many people. Then we can actually manually go in and add neighborhoods too. So probably not the neighborhood nurture, but that's one that I would say is an easy kind of great thing to send to people, but just not feasible for 1,000 people for you to go in and add the neighborhoods. So one thing that you can use Smartplans for, and it's going to get more useful for this in the future. But I mean, right now you can still do it. So for the holidays are coming up, right? You can send a simple email for as far as like, and you can create these, or you can find them in the library. There are holiday smart plans. They're just for single holidays right now, because smart plans, as you know, they're not date-based. They are just based on the date where you add someone to that smart plan. So let's say you want to send everybody a holiday smart plan that consists of an email that looks like you wrote it and typed it out by hand, and then plus a pretty email that's maybe like a holiday card or a happy Halloween card. You can create kind of a two-pronged thing, and or followed by a phone call step for everybody who you send that to. Or, nix the phone call, because if you send it to 1,000 people, I mean, unless you commit to doing like 100 calls a day, it's going to take you a little while to get through them. Though I would still recommend trying to tackle that. I think the holidays are a really great time to call people. People are home more because they're kind of just hanging out during the holidays. So I would highly recommend doing a phone call around the holiday time. And also, people are generally in a much better mood around the holidays. So again, all those things making it a great time to actually make those calls. But you can create a smart plan, or you can go to the library and you can find one of those holiday smart plans. Again, there are already existing ones. But those ones, again, for what you asked specifically, you are going to want to set up all 1,000 people in your database at the same time in a timely manner to make sure, okay, I've set this smart plan up, so they're going to receive the first email. You can start with a delay too. let's say you want them to receive the first email beginning of or around Thanksgiving. And then you want them to receive the second one, maybe the second week in December, saying happy holidays. You can definitely do that and set everybody up at the same time so that they're getting that November email on time, and then they're getting the December email on time. We are working on, or not we, but the product developers that, you know, they're like, it's like Wizard of Oz. They're like behind the green curtain. They are working on making smart plans able to be date-based, but I don't think that will be launched until maybe sometime next year. But that will allow us to actually set up a whole like year's worth of holidays. And then anytime we want to add someone to that smart plan, they'll catch on at the right time. Right now, we don't have that. So you kind of have to plan it based on, okay, going to dump everyone on it today. And then they're going to get that first email in 2 weeks and the second email in 3 weeks. And those match up with kind of around the holidays. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. The one follow-up question is I have several different categories in my database, right? How do I go to all in that regard?
You don't have to sort by anything.
Okay.
So you would just start selecting all. And basically when you're adding people to a smart plan, Ian, can I get remote control of your screen?
Sure. Here you
So
go.
it defaults to all then if I do a smart,
Yeah.
if I do
And I
a,
think you've asked me this question a long time ago, Peter, and that was the first time it brought this one issue to my attention, actually. So if you've got a very large database and you click select all, you actually need to scroll down because it will load 100 people at a time.
right.
And then you need to kind of keep adding the people on the next page and the next page. You know, we've given this feedback to the developers, and so hopefully eventually this will get easier. But for now, yeah, you kind of got to scroll, make sure you add everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Well, if I may add something, I think to make things easier for that is when you create a contact, make sure that they are tagged or they categorize as, within a tag, so that when you try to add them in a smart plan, you just choose the tag section and you select that specific tag that those contacts are enrolled to or subscribed to. Right,
So
Danny?
all that is a good point, Ian. However, you're still limited to, if you have many people with a tag, we can still only load 100 people on this screen at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, it just kind of, it just can't load, I guess, more without, it's just all it can load on this screen. And did you remember that from before, Peter? That was when you were doing, I think, email lists, but this
Yeah, exactly. It came up again in an email, which I probably will ask you about after we have this conversation today. But yeah, you did mention it. I do remember the conversation.
Yeah, there's still, you know, I've just was talking about this on the phone call with the developers last week. All the tech people mentioned it again. So hopefully this will eventually change and we'll be able to just, when you click select all, it's actually selecting all.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. You know, actually there is one more way that you could do this. When you have your smart plan all set up, you could actually go to your contacts. This might be a bit easier. You can show 500 at a time.
5 times the benefit.
Yes. And then you can bulk add. I'm only showing 4 because that's all there is. You can bulk action. Where is it? Add to smart plan is on here. Here we go. Easier if you're adding everybody this way. And also if you do have a lot of people with a certain tag, you can filter by tags. If your one tag has more than 100 people, go ahead and select it here. And then make sure you're showing 500 contacts on this page, select them all. Just thought of that. It won't work for an email campaign list though.
Mhm.
Okay, any other questions on Smart Plans?